Hello and welcome. I'm your host Gadd, and my co-host for today's video is you know her, you love her, Charlie. And in today's video, we'll be sharing my PvE farm build on the best class in the game for Crusaders. As a PC player, I found this build to be smooth with 100% uptime with Charlie and doing tons of damage while doing dailies, Verge, Urbans, and other open world events. It does really well in dungeons as well. It applies buffs to the team. I'll go over the skills and legendaries, skill rotation, Paragon, green sets, and legendary gems. Timestamps will be listed down below. Skills and legendaries. Holy Banner on the helm, errant ignition to activate standard of flame, making all primary attacks of all nearby allies burn enemies for damage over time. Offhand 1, unholy wall, which increases the movement speed of all allies by 12% up to 60% and reducing the cooldown of Holy Banner. Offhand 2, Fear or Sturban, extending the Holy Banner for every enemy defeated by 0.3 seconds up to a max of 5.7 seconds. And the Eternal Legendary Magic Affix for Holy Banner, which adds an increase to attack speed by 5%. Drawn Quarter. On the legs, Galloping Brilliance to activate Charlie, which increases all damage enemies in the aura takes and dealing damage. Increases movement speed by 60%. And on the shoulders, Toolkit's Advantage to increase the duration of Drawn Quarter with the Eternal Magic Affix for Drawn Quarter, giving your horse gas from eating too many Chipotle bowls, dealing damage to all nearby enemies. Sweep attack on the main hand 1, Remonstrant Mace to activate Holy Flail, which makes sweep attack your primary attack, sweeping in a wide arc dealing damage, and while Drawn Quarter is active, your primary attack will swirl the flail around dealing damage to all nearby enemies. Conjuration of Light. Lastly on the chest, Bloodstained Faith to activate Retind of Light, which makes Conjuration of Light summon 4 guards that automatically attack all nearby enemies. Enemies can be hit by 3 summons at the same time for full damage, but the additional 4th summon will do 50% less damage on the same target. Sacred Fire on the main hand 2 is your choice for the Bestial, Trial of Fire, or Horn Splitter, because the primary attack will be replaced with Sweep Attack and Drawn Quarters. Skill Rotation. What I like about this build is that it's simple for doing dailies and has huge burst damage that is always nice to see. Starting off with Drawn Quarter and activating Sweep Attack. Activate Holy Banner followed by Conjuration of Light when near enemies while holding down the primary attack, using Drawn Quarter and Sweep Attack off cooldown. Holy Banner buffs you and summons, dealing fire damage over time effects, melting mobs, and bosses. As you can see on the target dummy, the fire damage over time effect stacks from the summons and myself from Holy Banner. With the added damage increase from Drawn Quarter, Sweep Attack deals great AoE damage to clear out mobs fast and move smoothly through unhindered. Since I play on PC and as a WASD player, makes Drawn Quarter feel so nice and smooth. But Gadd, it's a mobile game.
Shut up!
Paragon. For the Paragon, I run Vanquisher, starting off with Treasure Find for the increased equipment drop rate from elite monsters. Greed to increase Treasure Find from 50% to 75%. Wrath for the increased damage for every monster defeated for 6 seconds. Zeal for the increased attack speed for every monster defeated for 6 seconds. Heart of the Wrath, which increases the stacks of Wrath and Zeal to 15 times. And Benefactor for a shield every 30 seconds. I recommend changing out Heart of the Wrath for a Swift Learner for 50% more experience, and if you need gold, changing out Zeal for Gold Find. For Hellslayer Bounties, Oblivion Pillars, and Urbans, I recommend Slinger Paragon for even more damage, starting off with Unseen Diasma for the damage increase each time you attack by 1% every stack. Uncanny, while maintaining 10 or more stacks of Unseen, increases your crit hit chance by 6.5%. Gifted, making Unseen now stack up to 15 times. Careful Aim, for every meter away from an enemy, damage is increased by 2%. And Precision, making the effects of Careful Aim increase from 2% to 3%. And remember, you can always double click the icon in the center to change the Paragons. Green Set. For my green set and my playstyle, which is tank support, I run a 2-set Vestige to increase the duration of all beneficial effects by 30%. 2-set Banquet of Eyes, damage done to enemies suffering from damage over time effects increased by 15%. Basically adding a damage increase debuff on enemies that are affected by my damage over time effects. And a 4-piece Mount Banks for 33% shield and moving unhindered through enemies. I am working on my PvE green set at the time of this video, but I would recommend a 2-piece Vestige, a 4-piece 2-piece aimants for the increased duration of additional ignite status by 30% and making primary attacks and skills deal damage over time. And lastly, a 2-piece feasting barons, which increases the duration of damage over time effects. This is a PvE green set I will be working on that should work well for my raid and dungeon builds. My playstyle is tank support role, so if you have any other suggestions, comment down below. Legendary gems. For the legendary gems, I will suggest the following that benefit the build, starting with the Blessing Pebble for the increased duration of beneficial effects, Pain Class for the damage increase to enemies suffering damage over time effects, Blood-Soaked Jade for the increased damage and movement speed, and Rolling Consequence for massive damage over time and increase the crit hit chance against burning enemies. There are many combinations of legendary gems I've read from 1 to 2-star gems, but the fun of is to make it what is best for your current setup. If you need any more information about legendary gems, I'll have a link to my legendary gem guide in the card above. Alright, this build is amazing for solo content like dungeons, verges, and urban. I can see changing Holy Banner for consecration, changing the helm with the new essence would work well, but I've been having a lot of fun and great success running this smooth build. The Meta Crusader build is really simple and has great damage output, but I just didn't like the feel when Drawn Quarter was active. As a WASD player, this build fixed that for me. Well, just use a controller.
Hey, shut up!
Alright, if you do give this build a try, don't forget to save it to your armor. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I hope you have the best of luck in your drops and have fun. See you next time.